Five, four, three, two, one. Hello, guys. Hello. We're here to stream. Uh, actually,
Hello, internet.
yeah, we're here to talk about the Penguin because it
Yes.
finished and it was just so good. It was really good.
Yeah, if anyone watching, if you haven't seen The Penguin, go watch it right now.
hmm
It is not a waste of your time. It is phenomenal.
So we were talking about this. We were talking about what if it's the best DC content ever made, and the competition is probably between this, Dark Knight, and Joker, depending on how you feel about that movie. And I think this takes the cake. I think this is officially the best DC content ever made, with the exception of maybe Green Lantern.
Yeah, Green Lantern might take the cake there.
I mean, Batman the Animated Series is really good too, but like this is some next level storytelling. I saw that they were maybe planning on a season 2. That would surprise me. That would surprise me because
Yeah,
yeah.
that's certainly a choice. I I really don't know how to feel about it because I feel like the show just wrapped everything up so nicely.
Yeah, it tells a complete story. You have him referencing his brothers early on. We get that complete story. We have I can't remember in which episode it was. He was talking about his mom and how one night they just went dancing and that was it. She was fine. And them telling a complete narrative down to the details of the prostitute that he sees often being, a significant part of his trauma in a sense. I feel like it's just such a complete story, and I don't know if you could do anything so perfect with season 2.
Yeah, I would agree, dude. I don't know where they go from here.
Yeah. Yeah.
But what we do know as to where they'll go from here is the Batman 2. And tell me, after this finale, how are you feeling for Batman 2?
Dude, I'm actually like I'm going to go see it, and like I'm kind of excited about it, and I wasn't before, which is an insane feeling cuz
Dude.
like I love Batman, but for whatever reason the Batman as a movie has just had this very non-interesting aura about it, and this show has reversed that for me. I'm like, okay, it seems like they really value storytelling. So now I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah. I we do know, I think Colin Farrell said that Penguin has, what is it, 5 or 6 scenes in the Batman 2?
That's what I've heard, yeah.
Um so we know he'll be in it. That's pretty cool. I know a lot of people after watching the show would love to see Batman beat the crap out of him.
Yeah.
For good reason. I think we're gonna go ahead and get into spoiler territory now. So anyone that has not watched The Penguin, go ahead and click off and go watch it.
Yeah. Seriously, it like John said, it is not a waste of your time. It is probably the best show we're going to get all year. Abs
Yeah, I was gonna
like
say
yeah.
I would argue it's right now it's the best show of 2024.
Yep. Yep, and I don't think it's particularly close.
I think the only thing that could maybe come close is Shogun, but I would still rank this above Shogun.
Yeah, there's Shogun, depending on how Arcane season 2 shapes up, and then The Gentleman was pretty good too, but this is
Yeah.
better.
So yeah, um, how did you feel about the plot twist in the finale?
Dude, I did not think they were going to do it. I thought they had put just so much work into Victor as a character. Like I liked him from the first episode, but he gradually just became like one of my favorite characters. I was always looking forward to seeing him on screen. And it was sickening to watch what happened to him. what do you think of like the perspective that went in behind it? Like why Penguin did it?
I well, he says in. Are you talking about like from his perspective?
Yeah, from the Penguin's perspective.
Okay. Well, I think he wanted to cut off any emotional ties that he has, which is weird because he still has his mom around, but I think with everything he went through with his mom and all the bad things that happened, he doesn't want another outlet for him to be manipulated emotionally because Victor got captured by someone and is being tortured.
Did you get the sense, you know, the scene where they're threatening to cut his mom's finger off unless he confesses that he killed his brothers, and then he tells her, "No, you're being delusional." Was it just me that
Hmm.
got the impression, or was this maybe what they were going for, that he was in some ways the cause of her memory loss and his manipulation had like slowly deteriorated her brain?
Hmm.
Maybe I just got the wrong reading off that, but like he's been lying to her all this time.
That could be. It could also be the case that he didn't want to. Because I remember early in the show, I was like, dude, why isn't she in a nursing home?
Mm-hmm.
And it could be that he didn't want to put her with medical help like that because he was scared that they would find out from her what really happened.
Mm-hmm.
I also think that there is an element of him being a pathological liar in this show.
Yeah. Well, I remember you had talked about like that scene where she's dancing with young Oswald and how selfish of her it was to demand everything from him. But I think,
Yeah.
given the context of this scene played like right before that dance, that is the sole reason she chooses to spare his life.
Hmm.
Um,
It makes so much more sense now because I always wondered
yeah,
why she would just demand that out of nowhere. But that scene really explained a lot there.
yeah, it's because and it didn't seem like he felt any particular way about his brothers. In fact,
Hmm.
it I have a hard time imagining him having any emotion like at all, especially after what he did to Victor. He seems like a genuinely like terrifying villain now. Like one I'd be excited
Yeah.
to see, even like even though he's not physically capable, I can see him being some sort of formidable opponent to Batman in some ways.
Hmm. Um, yeah, I was actually seeing like on TikTok now, Pete, there's some like people that talk about comic books, and because of this, they were talking about different comic runs where the Penguin is actually like a terrifying villain, and they have a lot that they can go off of, and especially now that they have him where he's at. One thing that I like in Arkham is where like you said, he's not physically capable, but if he's kind of like in charge of some other villains that are physically capable, but he's the one doing the planning, he's pretty cool.
Yeah. So I imagine we're both excited for Batman 2. If Penguin has
Oh
5 or
yeah.
6 scenes, he's not going to be a main villain, which leaves the question, which I think we
Yeah.
asked on the last stream as well, who's most likely to be the next big bad. I think we both came down somewhere around probably either Scarecrow or Mr. Freeze is most likely.
Yes. Now I do want to talk to you about this. In the courtroom, all I think it's like the curtains or the windows, they're shaped like
Yeah,
owls.
yeah. Well, that's
I
another
don't think
possibility.
that that's an accident. I don't think that's an accident at all.
I agree. I agree.
Do
That's
you think Court of Owls is the next movie?
I hope not because I hated that comic, but they could do it right. I mean, to be fair, Matt what's the guy's name again? Matt what's his name?
Matt Reeves?
Yeah, even though I don't think he like wrote most of this, he at least like he's proven that he has a recognition of good writing. And so I think if you can
See,
get a
I
good team behind this, it'll be good.
I've seen Batman versus Robin, the animated movie, and they do the Court of Owls right
Mm.
in there. So I think it's absolutely doable, especially in this universe. They seem to want to have more grounded villains. Court of Owls is perfect for that.
Hmm. Yeah. I mean, I want like some more just rogues gallery villains personally. I want to see like some of the crazier ones. Like imagine a Clayface in this universe. I think that could be really just interesting.
I could see them doing Hush.
Yeah, yeah, that'd be another one. But like I think like the juxtaposition for me of like a crazy villain like Mr. Freeze or Mad Hatter or Poison Ivy or Clayface in this world with like the really grounded stuff, I'd be really interested to see what they could do with that.
Yeah. I'm curious how grounded they would keep them. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Especially like a Clayface or a Poison Ivy. Because they haven't really done anything too crazy in this universe so far. I guess the most that we've seen is when Batman like injects his leg with the Bane stuff in the first movie.
Well, Batman's basically like Superman because he can stand right next to that explosion and he's just fine. So
I remember that. Remember people defending that scene, saying being like, "Oh, well, he turned his head at the last second."
no, no, it's not good.
Also, I was not a fan of the Riddler. Um,
No.
the more it goes on, and his motive is so weird. He's like, screw rich people, and then he destroys low income neighborhoods.
Yeah, and he's like, Batman's for sure on my side, so I'm gonna give a bunch of like vague clues so that while he's working with the police, he'll be able to like help me out. Like, all right, nice.
Yeah.
Do we want
Now,
to address a 1-star review on IMDb?
let's hear it.
The title of this 1-star, 1 out of 10 review is called Victor.
Mm.
It says, killing Victor but keeping the prostitute girlfriend who we really love and keeping his mom alive is not just contradicting, but pointless. John, what do you have to say about that?
I think that this person probably um didn't watch the whole show.
I think the person doesn't understand what the prostitute means to Oz in terms of
Mm.
I heard someone describe his relationship with his mother as oh, what's it called? Shoot, the name's escaping me now. But he definitely his mother is the person that he's closest to. I think Oedipal.
Yeah. Mm.
And the prostitute will essentially act like his mother when he needs her to and provide that sense of pride that he always wanted from her. And it also
Yeah.
says something because if you remember, the last time we saw Eva or Eve, I can't remember which one it is. She's meant to be angry at Penguin for covering up Carmine Falcone's murder of her coworkers. But at the end of the day, she doesn't even really care about that. She just wants the money as well because she's still
Yeah.
willing to like be with him.
On this note of like reviews, uh IGN gave this a 5 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think that those people actually like watched the same show?
Well, what did they have to go off of? Like the first episode or like all 8?
Let me double check. Even
Hmm.
dude,
I
5 out of
mean,
10 off the first episode is still
yeah, I
crazy.
mean, first I remember us watching it together and we were like both hooked like immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Either way, anything below anything below a 7 is kind of insane. I would go as far as an 8 or a 9. What would you go for?
Um, but like what I would rank it or what's
Yeah.
insane.
Yeah, how would you rank it? Cuz there's not much to critique for the most part.
I think 9 out of 10 is solid.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe if I really like did a deep dive on the show, that would change. You maybe go up or down, but like
I think
it's really good.
from the last couple days of me just like mulling over the last episode and the season as a whole, which by the way, that's what good shows do. If you find yourself thinking about it, usually it's quality, like there's something there to think about. It in my mind has only gotten better with time. There are a couple things that I could critique, like couple like, oh, that happened just in time. That's a little convenient, but like that's pretty much it in terms of problems with the show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um
Bro, they saw the whole thing.
that's so bad. How yeah, was it like second monitor
Okay,
content and he was playing
I'm gonna
like
read this out.
Fortnite or
I'm gonna
something? Yeah, read it
I'm gonna
out.
read this out. Are you ready? This sentence genuinely makes me angry. The problems plaguing the series are thrown into stark relief by the finale, which stretches the trip into Oz's past into a second episode while attempting multiple gut punches that fail to land because the people involved haven't been given the screen time to matter to each other or to us.
So I don't know if you agree with this, but to me, the flashback stuff was some of the most interesting stuff to happen, like always. That was stuff that I was glued to the screen for.
Oh yeah. Dude,
Especially
that
the
opening
kid.
of episode 7,
Yeah, yeah.
that
And
was so good.
the kid they got to play Penguin too.
Oh, he was fantastic.
Yeah. What's his name again? I saw like a video of him like without the accent. Um cuz he's just like a normal kid. Let me try and find him. Hmm. Also, the actress they got to play the younger version of his mother, she was really good too. I don't think there was anyone in terms of a performance that I was like, yeah, that's not that great. I didn't really like the
Dude,
therapist guy, but
he's probably the weakest character.
mhm.
Um Oh yeah, episode 8 sitting at a 9.6. That's great. Uh
Yeah, yeah, here we go.
mm,
Here we go. I'll send this clip to you. I'll
okay.
also play it for the people.
Ozzy, the young penguin,
Yeah,
to
listen to this
myself,
accent. This accent
right
is
arrow,
great. He's got
and then on us.
I
Do
love
it.
that the lowest score is just 8.5.
Cut. Here we go in the makeup wipe. First, we gotta take off this ridiculous prosthetic mold. No,
I didn't
it's
know that
great.
kids
Crystal,
could
all
do
props to you.
accents this
You're
well.
amazing.
That's
Yeah, there's a few of them that are really
So
good.
yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. And now I'm Ryder Allen.
That's incredible. I'm so impressed. Props to the child boy for doing such a great job.
Yeah.
How old is he? He's like 12 years old. That's pretty cool. Yeah, so did we want to talk about anything else? I know Cobra Kai is coming out tonight. What are your expectations? And
I
you can cover
am
some spoilers if you want, but
Yeah, I'm excited. I think these next 5 episodes will be way better than the last 5 or anything in season 5. especially from a lot of the things that the cast have said and a lot of the things that I've seen behind the scenes. Now, as far as that 5th episode, that anyone watching, if you want to avoid spoilers, probably best to click off now. I'm gonna talk about some leaks. There's a leak about a character that dies, and I don't like the way he dies. Now, then again, it is a leak. It has to be taken with a grain of salt. It could be executed completely differently, but that scares me a little bit. But I don't know. The directors have been hyping up episode 10. They say it's like the craziest episode in all of Cobra Kai. So, sounds like we got some fun stuff incoming. They showed the first 5 minutes of episode 6 about I think 2 days ago. Maybe it's today. Seems like we got a little taste of Prime Hawk. And yeah, I'm pretty excited.
Out of curiosity, because I sense a bit of a disagreement probably on this, how would you rate, just on a simple number scale, season 6 part 1?
Welcome. Not pretty high. Like a 5.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm going with like a 2.5 or a 3. So I think we're both pretty. That's really interesting to me because I think we both rank Cobra Kai season 5 pretty low. What would you give that?
Yeah. Dude, 5 is like a 3 or a 4. There's a lot of problems in it.
Yeah, and I would go probably just a little bit lower than that. Except you have like the scene with Johnny and Daniel at Johnny's apartment. That's pretty good. And you have the Miguel/Robbie fight. So
I'm having a hard time with these first 5 episodes because it's like people are trying to rank season 6 versus season 5, and I can't really let myself do that yet because the whole season's not out.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not a fan of the way that I get pushing, doing what Arcane is doing and releasing it in sections. I just think they made the gap way too big.
Yeah, for sure. It's just when I think of part 1, I think of the fight at the dorm where Kenny really wanted to get into the frat and they didn't like him because he was a loser. I think of that fight. I think of the sleepover.
You mean Kyler?
Yeah, Kyler. Sorry, not Kenny. I think of the sleepover and I think of Kenny getting diarrhea. That's kind of where my brain
scene
goes.
Was pretty brutal. Yeah, I liked the fights in episode 5. I thought episode 5 was pretty good. We finally got Johnny versus Mike Barnes. That was fun. I liked some of the stuff in the first episode with Daniel and Chosen having beef, and it's actually one of my most favorite scenes in those first 5 episodes is when they call off their beef and then they're like, "Oh, but we're still gonna fight." I thought that was that was very much in character for them.
Yeah, I like that. I hate the way they chose to select the competitors. For whatever reason, Hawk was not going to go to the Seikai Taikai, which to me is what are you doing? Sam is not that great of a. I get that she's Daniel's daughter. She's not that great though.
Yeah.
Doing it as a random who finds a flag in a forest first kind of competition makes no sense to me. Plus the other ones didn't make any sense to me either. But anyway, I am not very optimistic. I don't know if you're optimistic. It sounds like you're more optimistic than I am. So
I think that this will be a lot more enjoyable, but we've talked about this before. One part of Cobra Kai that I really like, and it's kind of more the main reason I watch it, is the martial arts side of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I know we're going to get a lot of that in these next 5 episodes.
Yeah.
There's even people in these next 5 episodes that are like acting that I've actually met at tournaments before. So it's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I was gonna write up a script about Cobra Kai, just a pretty quick one talking about like why I feel it's gone down, and the reason was because I felt like the reason I was invested was because of all the characters going through normal like high school / relationship dramas, but like the medium being essentially martial arts. Um, but I think I decided not to ultimately do that script because I think the reason I enjoy it is much different than the reason you or Paul or other people who enjoy it do. So,
Yeah, yeah. Now, I think the main reason that I got in the show, like, I liked martial arts, but it was also a good story. It was a combination of both.
mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, I'm also just a sucker for the tournament seasons, so
Yeah.
there's that too.
Well, hopefully at minimum we get some good choreography, and I'm sure we'll be willing to like
I
praise that as it comes.
I've heard some really good things. I've heard Robbie versus Quan is really good, which that's not even a spoiler. That's like in the trailer.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard Hawk and Dimitri have like a King of the Hill. There's like a King of the Hill competition, and it's really cool. And Hawk kind of like goes nuts. Um, yeah, and then I think Robbie versus Axel is supposed to be really good. Axel, did you watch the clip of the Iron Dragons?
Maybe I
They
can't
released.
remember. If you
It
sent
was
it to
like the
me, it's a
two.
possibility.
Um, it was like the guy and the girl in the gray uniforms, and they beat up the Cobra Kai team.
Huh. Okay. No, you sent me the clip of the bow staff girl because I thought it was just
Yeah,
because the bow staff girl was
that's
in
the
it.
clip.
But yeah.
Yeah. Basically the guy on her team, he's like really good, and he's like the best fighter there. So I think he and Robbie have a really good fight from what I've heard.
Cool.
And I do know it'll be a lot more brutal. We've seen a
Well,
little bit of it in the trailer. We saw like Robbie gets like kicked in the face and he's got like blood flying out of his mouth and stuff.
we probably won't be like reviewing it, I would imagine. But well, maybe we will. We'll see what happens. We'll see if it's any particular
I think if
thing.
it's really hype, we could talk about it. I know we're gonna get a lot of matchups. I've heard we might get Kreese versus Silver, and that would just be fun to talk about. Cause I think Silver should dominate that fight, but that's just me.
Yeah, well, Paul thinks you're wrong because I actually forgot why he thinks that. Um, yeah, he thinks you're wrong. Um, let's talk about Star Wars, bro. You know Star Wars? You like Star Wars?
Oh boy, yeah, Star Wars is in a fun place right now.
Mm-hmm.
So if anyone didn't hear the news, they announced that they're gonna do episodes 10, 11, and 12 with Simon Kinberg as the writer.
Mm-hmm. And he's not in charge of good
Hey,
things, is he?
are you familiar with Simon Kinberg's work?
He's done a bunch of bad X-Men stuff, right?
He did Dark Phoenix.
Yeah.
That's really bad.
The quote that really got me, because this comes with like a bunch of different quotes, is that someone said that Star Wars is a nostalgia-based enterprise and they are running out of ways
Oh
to
yeah.
create nostalgia. That bothered me, and I'm not even
No.
a Star Wars fan. Like that, if someone said that about like my favorite franchise or music, I would lose it. Like, what? Like this entire like venture, you're not telling a story, you're trying to create nostalgia. What does that even mean, create nostalgia? Which I
Dude, it's
mean,
ridiculous.
it
And
explains like why they keep on doing like this we have to have like old actors back. We can't create new stories. We're just trying to like
Hmm.
pull back old like iconic stuff.
The only two ones that are getting like a legitimate shot right now are Andor and Ahsoka. They're the only ones that got the season 2. Well, aside from Mando, but that's a little different.
I mean, I am pretty
But
excited about
like,
Andor.
yeah, and then we get the that one show this winter. Oh, what's it called again? Skeleton Crew, yeah. I really don't know how to feel about that one,
You
but
gonna watch it?
yeah, I'll watch it.
Okay. Yeah, I'm excited for Andor. We'll see. We'll see. I think it's gonna be. I would guess that it'll be about the same quality as the first season because it has like the same creative team behind it. So hopefully it's really good. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, anything
I
else you
heard
wanted
that there
to?
was like there's like what, like a year time jump in between each arc or something.
Yeah, the last one was it was like four different arcs. It was three episodes,
Yeah,
and then like a one episode, and then a three episodes, and then two episodes. It was kind of weird.
interesting.
Um, yeah, but they got to do that because originally I think the plan was to give them like 5 seasons or something insane like that, but because Disney's been like cutting back on everything, they uh
Yeah.
they have to wrap it all up now, which hopefully that doesn't impact the quality in a negative way.
Yeah, that scares me a little bit.
Mhm.
Um, yeah. On the other side of things, Ahsoka's doing the Abeloth from the leaks. That's pretty exciting for anyone that's into the EU. Um, so yeah, I wish Acolyte would have been good because Acolyte was trying to do something new, but the problem was that it was trash.
Hmm.
And it's like,
I mean,
I don't know,
even
they try to do like
they still had to do like the Yoda and um what's the one Sith guy at the end? Like they still had to do what they could to
like
pretend it was
Plagueis
deep.
was stupid.
Yeah,
That
Plagueis.
didn't make any sense. I was fine with Yoda because he's actually around at that time. So it's like, yeah, I think he should have been more involved. I
Sure.
think at that time Yoda should have absolutely been looking into that, but
Right, but to be honest, that appearance wasn't like a story-based appearance in all likelihood.
true. True. That's another thing. I was actually just about to talk about this. They're using a lot of characters as like cameos and just to drive nostalgia, and they're not actually like doing something with those characters.
Mhm. Yeah, it's
And
well, I
I kind
mean,
of have a problem with that.
they can't create new nostalgia, which is sad, man. Like that
And like I enjoyed the Luke stuff in Mando, but it's time to do something with Luke now if they're gonna put him in something else again.
I think
Have Luke have a small arc or something.
what with like deepfake or something?
Yeah, deep fake Luke, or just get Sebastian Stan to play him.
I feel like deepfake is not the way to go. I feel like it's getting so much backlash now. It'd be better just to recast him. Just like they should have recast Black Panther. Um,
I think what they should do is just get like Sebastian Stan or one of those guys. Maybe do like a touch of deep fake, and that's it. Like you're good.
yeah, here's a little excerpt from the article. It says, it also points to the unique nature of Star Wars to fans, and in this case, filmmakers and producers. It is not a brand or a franchise, but something akin to a religion. Unlike Marvel or DC, with decades of stories propelling them forward, or even Harry Potter with 7 fleshed out books, Star Wars, at its core, has been the original George Lucas movies. That's got to be so annoying for like hardcore EU fans to hear, man.
Oh yeah. I think well it goes back to that quote we heard from KK about oh we don't have any source material. That's so stupid. Yes you do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think
Well,
right now I don't know how much Andor pulls from. I don't think does Andor pull from the EU or is it more its own thing?
Well, I mean, Rogue One was an EU story initially, but
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm more thinking about like recent stuff because Rogue
yeah,
One's.
I don't think it does, but someone like Ryan Kennel would be the person to ask, honestly. So
Yeah, Ahsoka pulls from the EU, and it's pulling from the EU for season 2, which I like. Acolyte, not really.
mhm.
Dude, here's what sucks. Is that like you got The Last Jedi and Acolyte. They both try to do something new, which is cool, but they're bad. And so then the company's like, "Oh, everyone hated this. Let's not try something new." That's what sucks. Cuz we need to be doing something new, but Ryan Johnson had to mess that up for us.
Yeah. Well, um, so obviously last year, around this time last year, it was announced that Dave Filoni was the head creative at Lucasfilm. Assuming we haven't seen any downstream effects of that yet, when do you think you would expect to see some of those? Because I imagine you're not. I mean,
I
he did.
think
He did technically like approve the scripts and for Acolyte. I know that was a big news piece when it was coming out.
yeah, that was a whole thing. Um Obviously we're going to see stuff in Ahsoka. I think there's a chance you might have an Easter egg or two in Andor. We had the one
Mm-hmm.
in season 1, which was cool.
Which one are you talking about?
The Rakata Empire.
Okay.
That's like a EU thing,
Mm-hmm.
or like the Rakata's based on the EU. I don't know. Um,
But yeah,
it's hard to
everyone's.
say. It's like Skeleton Crew's been in the works for a long time. Um, he approved Acolyte. To be fair, Acolyte was also in the works for a long time, though. Dude, that got announced. Didn't Acolyte and Skeleton Crew get announced like way back in like
I think it was 2021.
20? Was it 2021?
I'm pretty sure.
That's kind of crazy. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
I've definitely
2020.
heard like,
What's up,
oh,
homos?
we're
Don't
live.
don't say anything too
FYI.
crazy, Paul.
Don't,
Don't say anything too
we're
crazy.
live. You are more than welcome
I
to
am
join
a
the conversation,
human.
Paul, but you just we're live.
Cool.
We're
Yeah,
talking about Star Wars, Paul.
we're
What do you
talking
think about
about
Star Wars?
Yeah.
It's the greatest thing ever made by a man with a white beard.
Wow.
Hmm, that's deep.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
What about the Ten Commandments?
God is a man?
Um.
I mean, Jesus.
Anyway, guys. Arcane season
Oh,
2.
Yeah,
Sorry.
since Paul's here, we can talk
That wasn't
about
even my
Arcane.
fault. That was I don't know if I say your real name when you were streaming or not.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah.
Arcane season 2. I have really enjoyed it. I'm really liking it. There are people with a more critical eye than I who have pointed out that it is not as technically well executed as a story as season 1, which I think is true.
No.
But I'm still really
Only
enjoying it.
Three
so.
three episodes, right?
Yeah. I mean, think
Yeah,
about the first 3 episodes of Arcane though. That third episode was insane.
Origin stories are generally easier than continuing a story, though. So I don't know that. Like, I think this is a good continuation of the story.
I like
personally
I said,
liked
I
these
agree.
first 3 episodes better than I liked the first 3 episodes of the first season.
Wow.
I didn't like, maybe not. Yeah, no, I really liked the first season of the season.
Okay. Well, like I
It
said,
really
I really
hammered
enjoyed it.
home.
No, don't say that. We're streaming. We're live.
What? What?
Were you gonna say the thing that you dropped in the chat the other day?
No, no. I really hammered home that Piltover / Zon are really at war now. I don't know why you would ever assume such things.
Well, like I said, I really enjoyed it, but there are, there are some things that they just could have executed a little bit better, I think, in terms of story. But it's not like it's still a great show. I'm liking it. John as a more detached, maybe Arcane watcher. What are your thoughts?
I loved it, dude. The animation is just gorgeous.
Yes.
Obviously, I'm a huge fan of Jinx. Jinx is awesome, and we got some cool Jinx scenes. So I'm a very happy person.
I love Jinx. She's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Victor's got some cool stuff going on. I'm really hoping.
Yeah, Victor's kind of going on an interesting journey there.
And they
have either of y'all ever really done any dive into League lore? By the way,
I know what Victor looks like in the game, but
I have not.
Which version? Victor?
While watching this season, these 3 episodes actually kind of made me think, you know what? Maybe I should check out some lore videos.
It's I will say I think they're accelerating the timeline a bit much, but that I think might have something to do with Netflix and more than 2 seasons for shows, which doesn't normally happen.
This is their last one. It's a sad
so they have to wrap a lot up. Like, just if you're at all familiar with the lore of the Civil War, there's so much they have to wrap up, which obviously means they're going to cut a lot of stuff. And as a fan of lore for Runeterra, that hurts me a little bit, but that's fine.
I saw someone else complaining about that too, which is a shame.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think you'll realize how excited the first episode made me, because the armor that the bad guys are wearing is an item called Experimental Hex Plate, and yeah, that just made me very happy.
Nice. Yeah, I imagine.
I'm glad that
Yeah.
It's actually kind of good that, like, now that we're talking about Arcane, we have like an actual like League of Legends player, because obviously I would not have known that at all.
This is true.
Well, like, y'all don't know really who Singed is.
Yes, I do.
Yeah. But do you really?
Don't assume what I do or don't know. I have done my. I'm excited for Vander to come back. That's what I'm excited about.
If they don't, if Vander doesn't end up, well, I don't know how much I should say.
No,
but it's from League lore. It's like
that. I mean, it is Vander, right?
Singed is not Vander.
No, I know.
Are you
he's the wolf
talking
guy.
about Clow? Yes, Warwick.
Yeah,
if they don't follow through on those promises from season 1 and the first episode of this or end of the first episode of the season, I will be so sad.
It has to.
It isn't Vander.
It has
got to be Vander.
He's gonna be back, and it's gonna be a little sad to see. But John, for context, do you remember Vander from the first 3 episodes?
Oh yeah.
The theory is, and it's all but confirmed, is that he's the.
I put him in the chat.
Experiment that Singed has been working on. So he's gonna be coming back soon, which I'm real hyped about.
That would be pretty sick.
Yeah.
And did y'all watch the trailer for the next few episodes?
I try to stay away from trailers now. Because I mean, it'll be out this Saturday anyway, so.
Okay.
Oh, I mean,
there was a shot that might confirm that theory a little bit more now that I know what that is. But
yeah.
I mean, like, it would make no sense not to. Now, I will say, y'all don't know who Kindred is, do y'all? No, you don't. Okay, so some of Mbessa's stuff has been hinted very strongly too, because obviously she got released in League pretty recently. Fun champion, not very good though. And then it's also interesting how Singed, killed a couple wolves to, just saying, it's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice.
One thing that I like about these 3 episodes is that the whole like universe that they're in felt a lot bigger compared to season 1.
Hmm.
Like they brought in those witches. I'm so curious about that. Like I said, I don't really have that much knowledge of it, but it is very interesting to me.
The witches are cool.
So I don't think you're gonna get all the peripheral information on them because for various reasons, but I do
Can I
know
just
some
go
stuff
like
about them from
watch a
lore.
video on them?
You could, but they're very mysterious because there's a lot of unrevealed stuff with them. They're called the Black Rose, and they are basically a cabal in Noxus that
That's
used to
cool.
rule Noxus until Swain kicked them out. And so it's like I obviously don't know everything about Mbessa and them, but that's interesting.
I do
It is cool to see them in
understand
the
what you
show.
mean, though, Paul, in terms of. I also feel like they were rushing a little bit just because they were balancing like so many different components. I thought just a little extra time would have been nice. I didn't think.
Yeah, especially for the intrigue and stuff like that. Like I think they could have afforded to let that breathe a little bit. But
Yeah, and I don't think they did the best job with the gray. Um, I think there were a couple problems with
yeah.
that. Like I was wondering why, because the gray was sort of released into Piltover, right? Was my understanding. And you saw, I think
It
I saw like
seemed to be.
one kid wearing a mask, and I would have thought it was
Yeah.
like everyone. And instead everyone was reacting like kind of positively to it, and I was pretty confused by like what they're going for with that.
You mean the third end of the third episode
Yeah, yeah.
when Jinx is like, "I'm gonna," yeah, that whole sequence felt a bit odd.
I've seen a lot of, this is a question for both you two. I've been seeing a lot of people complaining hardcore about the kid that's hanging out with Jinx. What are you two's thoughts on the kid?
I need to see more of it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see why that would be a problem. That confuses me. I don't even think we know her name yet, do we?
Well, the theory is that she's Timu? Timu? Because
She's
she wears
definitely
like
not Teemo,
well, because she wears a similar hat, is the idea.
but Yordles are born Yordles, so that would make a lot of sense.
I'm just telling you what people have been saying, all right?
I mean, if they do that, it's very odd, as
I
Teemo
don't.
is both male and was born a gerbil.
Well, I've also
Not
heard
actually a
people
gerbil,
refer
but
to the kid as a male, so I don't really know what they're going for,
uh,
honestly.
maybe the kid is a male. I was under the
Maybe.
impression that it was a little girl,
Me too.
I
and
don't
that Jinx like
really.
saw herself in her.
Mhm.
I don't really have a problem with the kid. Like I said, I need to see more of it. Like I feel like they just kind of introduced her, but we're still waiting to see what they're gonna do with her. So, or him. I don't want to misgender.
Them.
Sorry.
The real problem with
Them.
this whole thing is always the problem with fans of a thing is if
Mhm.
it's not like exactly how they imagined it, it's bad. Or
Dude.
then you have the polar opposite, which is even though it completely basically ignores the uh, thing that it comes from, it's great. And it's like I don't think Arcane is doing that, but I do see people that have the take that it's terrible because this, and this. It's like, what?
Yeah.
Come on,
Yeah.
chill out.
We do love fan bases,
Right?
especially
Especially
Star
when
Wars.
it's.
Dude, Star Wars fans are the most reasonable fans of all time. I don't know what we're talking about.
Oh yeah. Okay, I was watching a movie about with Daisy Ridley as a swimmer.
Mhm.
What is that movie called? And yeah, it was a movie.
Was she a better actress than?
No, she was worse than she was in Star Wars.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Like significantly so. She was trying to do an American accent and she couldn't. Not for the life of her.
Oh.
She's like, why are you trying?
That's
Come
too
on,
bad.
girl.
I
Don't do that.
Yeah, because I recently watched a movie with Brie Larson, who gets ragged a lot for acting ability in Marvel movies, and it was just like a completely different performance. It was so much better. But it sounds like Daisy Ridley doesn't really have that.
I feel like I've seen Daisy Ridley in something that I thought she did fine in.
Hmm.
But but I can't remember what it was.
I don't even hold on. I'm gonna pull up her IMDb because I don't even know what else she's actually like been in.
She's not really been in a lot.
Murder
Yeah,
on the
which
Orient
is rough.
Express.
She was in that. Maybe that's the movie because I did see that and I didn't hate it, but that was just more because I like Kenneth Branagh.
Well, she'll be getting her 10th Star Wars movie, so that's cool.
Yeah, did you hear about that, Paul?
Like 10th?
Yeah.
Well,
Huh?
you know
So
what
they
I
just
mean.
announced.
Episode 10.
Oh, okay. Yes, they're doing a yeah, that's not gonna actually happen. I would be so shocked if that project
Yeah,
doesn't get dropped. Especially
there's
because
a
their executive
whole
producer actually is a competent guy. I doubt it gets out of production hell.
Simon Kinberg.
Yeah, he's had a few decent movies. Also some
Simon
very big
Kinberg made
flops.
Dark Phoenix.
Yes, as I said, also some
He
massive
did X-Men: The
flops.
Last Stand.
Yes, yes.
He was
Also
he
some
was
massive
involved.
flops.
No. He was
Yes, I
involved in
understand that.
2015 Fantastic Four.
Yes, I understand. Okay, I didn't
Explain,
hate
Paul.
the new
Explain.
Fantastic Four though. Okay, I didn't hate it. It wasn't amazing, but I didn't hate it.
What
I'm
the
not. I'm not in the
trash
camp that
bag
hated.
Doom?
He was not as cool as the guy they got in the old Fantastic Four, which also I rewatched those recently, and they're goofy, but there's some funny moments in there, and there's some really good acting, honestly, from the Doom actor.
The first one's a fun movie. I enjoyed the first one.
Yeah. You didn't like watching Silver Surfer fly in and murder a giant cloud?
I can't say that I love them turning Galactus into a cloud, but
You know what? They had a budget and they stayed under it, and I can respect that, even if yeah, it's a giant cloud.
here's the thing with
Sure.
this announcement. Paul, I think you are right. It's probably not going to happen because they've attempted that with so many other things and it just doesn't happen. Um, it seems like
Ooh,
KK is
this poster looks
dead
cool though.
set on doing like something with Ray,
Look,
which is
I don't
weird.
hate the idea of doing something with Rey, even though I dislike her as a character. And the reason is because the canon is where it is now, which means
Paul,
you have to do something to move it beyond the current canon because they're not going to decanonize episodes 7 through 9, unfortunately.
imagine this is the best case scenario is not them getting rid of Rey forever and you never seeing her. The best case scenario
That's what I'm saying.
The best case scenario is some fantastic writer comes in and makes her your favorite character in all of Star Wars. Like if someone
So
talented could do
Yeah,
that,
that is the best
that would
case
be
scenario.
insane. But like they don't hire talented writers anymore, so that's not gonna happen.
I think they have there are good writers, but yeah, most writers are garbage, and the
here's what they
writers they put in
do.
charge of these things are generally very bad.
Here's what happens is they hire talent. They hire talent. We got the guys that did the Spider-Verse movies. What's their names again? I can't remember. Anyways, they were going to do Solo. And then they clashed with KK over or was it KK or somebody else over creative differences and they got moved off.
Ramsey, Perchetti, and Rothman.
Think so.
Yeah, and it sounds like
Um
the only projects that get away with it is like Andor, which no one cared about, so they could kind of get away with whatever.
Dude, no one cared about
Ahsoka
Andor,
got
and that
away
was
with
actually like no one in Lucasfilm cared about it, and that ended up being like the best thing for them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's because it's not involving the Jedi to a degree, so
Well,
it's
there's
easier.
have you seen it?
I said to a degree. Yes. As
Okay.
in,
Okay,
the
good.
focal point is not a force user. That's not the focal
Yeah,
point.
I'm
And
not.
so
I'm not
it's,
gonna argue with you. I get what you mean.
Here's the
that's it.
thing,
I didn't hate Ahsoka, so
it's not even that hard to do the whole Force stuff right.
No.
It's just like they hire idiots to write
Yeah.
stuff.
pretty much.
Yeah.
See, and like, and nobody minded that Balin Skull was just kind of knocking Ahsoka around like it was nothing, even though he was a new character, because
Yeah.
like there was this mystery to him, and also it's like, yeah, it's been years and years since this thing happened, and he's been out doing his own thing for that whole time. So,
He also uses
duh,
the
he would be
same.
cool.
He also uses the same form as Mace Windu, which is so cool.
Yes, Brett. Balin Skull is such a cool character, and we'll probably never
Yeah.
see him again. So sad.
No, we will. We just won't see Ray Stevenson because they're doing Ahsoka
They should
season 2.
get. Oh, okay. They should do the actor that plays Wolverine's brother in the Wolverine Origins.
X-Men
He
Origins.
looks a lot like him. Yeah,
X-Men
Leaf
Origins. I need to
something.
see this guy.
Like
Oh,
he's a good actor too.
Leave Schreiber.
I think. Yeah, he's the cool brother of
He plays
the
Victor.
person that pretended to play Master Chief. I'm pretty sure.
That's funny. No, yeah, he looks good. No, yeah, Balin Skull's a really cool character.
Yeah, and I think he's got. I think he has the presence for it.
Yeah. I feel like here's what annoys me. Like with all these current Star Wars projects, it's like they have a piece of the puzzle of what to get right, but they can't combine it all. And that's bugging me.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Well, to
Acolyte,
combine it all, you'd have to have like one, architect of a creative mind, who like maybe even wasn't directly involved in all these things, but kind of oversaw it. And unfortunately, they don't really have someone that's competent to do that.
yeah, it's like Acolyte, the one thing I'll give it is that it has the best live action choreography that we've ever gotten underneath Disney. Like it was just better than a lot of, especially the sequels. So it's like there's that. They were at least trying. Andor's got
Sorry,
really
I
good
was.
writing. Ahsoka's got Ahsoka really hits a lot of like that Force stuff, just like we were talking about, like with Balin Skull. And Ahsoka did some like new stuff that like was cool, like going to another
It was
galaxy and whatnot.
cool, but it also didn't like break things from
Yeah.
the first 6 movies or any of the Clone Wars, and it brought a bunch of legend stuff in, which obviously is hype.
Did you hear that they're doing Abeloth in season 2?
I would think so, considering Filoni's been talking about her for a decade.
Yeah, and especially with the way that the season 1 leaves off, it doesn't make sense. But yeah, I don't know. It's kind of annoying. KK needs to be fired.
I don't
That's
understand. Like everything she has done has flopped. Like, has she ever what has she done that went well?
Dude, remember when Solo flopped and she said it flopped because they didn't deep fake Harrison Ford?
I mean, okay. But on one hand, I'm kidding.
Should we wrap up the stream there? I think that might be a good
Yeah,
place
because
to...
I could keep ranting about this for
Yeah,
like another
yeah.
2 hours.
Yeah.
On the solo note.
Yeah. Well, guys, thank you so much for watching. We really
Watch
appreciate it.
Penguin if you
Yeah,
can.
guys, watch Penguin. Paul, it's worth
Paul, watch Penguin.
What is it, like $15 a month? Just pay the $15 and binge it. Something like that.
Just make a new email account and get the free month. Get the free trial and just binge it.
Absolutely.
I have so many papers to write.
I do too, and I made it work.
It's the other. Paul, you gotta stop making excuses, and you gotta watch the best
a week
show
off
of the year.
It's literally the best show
after this week, I think. So in the week of Thanksgiving, I have off. So
well, get on it.
I'll try and do it then.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Leave a comment letting us know. Oh, also, How to Train Your Dragon, the first couple images of that released, and it looks like they just made the animated version, but in 4K. So I don't really have a lot of things to say about it, but like I'm still not excited about it. Although they didn't like mess up Toothless, so I'm happy about that. Anyway, love you guys. Bye.
Bye.